3, 2, 1. You're stronger than you know. There's power in your bones. The flowers that you've grown were watered by your tears. You say you're growing old. One day you're gonna fold. Amazing how you go unbothered through the years. But if you just let go and fall into the garden that you grew.
Hello everyone, it's Elle and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and having a wonderful start to your week. To be completely transparent, I have been feeling a little bit down and overwhelmed lately, and just the thought of everything just completely stresses me out. It also doesn't help that I just got my period. So yeah, I thought why not take it easy today and film something a little bit more chill and intimate for you all. So I gathered some questions off of YouTube, Instagram, and on Patreon, and I'm gonna answer them for you while I get ready for the day. I'm not sure what makeup look I'm going for just yet. I don't really have a plan. I guess we'll just see what happens. Oh, but I did get a new product recently. It's the REM Beauty Liquid Eyeshadow in the color Midnight Shadows, and it's this really stunning glittery purple. And I've never tried liquid eyeshadow, so I'm very excited to try this out. And yeah, I'll probably just center a look around this. I probably won't be going out after this. I most likely will be staying indoors, but putting on makeup in the morning has always been something that's been very calming and therapeutic for me, so it'll be a nice break from all of the chaos. So a majority of these questions were centered around how I started freelancing, what my art process is like, where I get my inspiration, but there's also a few fun ones sprinkled in throughout, so I'll try my best to cover as much as I can. So I already prepped my face with moisturizer, so I'm just gonna start off with foundation, and I'm using the Rare Beauty foundation, which I've been using for like the past couple of years. I'm not sure when this came out, but ever since it came out, I've been using this foundation like every single day, and it's been my go-to. I'm pretty sure I'm running out of product, but I'll try my best to get out as much as I can for this. So let's start off with something simple. Someone asked, when's your birthday and what's your zodiac sign? And I'm a September baby. I was born on September 27, so I'm a Libra. And to be honest, I don't know too much about zodiac signs, but from what I've read and seeing the characteristics online, I think they're pretty accurate, especially with the indecisiveness part, but you tell me if I seem like a Libra, I'm not sure. How did you find your art style, and are there any art styles that you want to try? So I feel like my art style is always evolving, but for the most part, I'm really inspired by my childhood growing up in the 90s. As a kid, I watched a ton of cartoons like Sailor Moon, Powerpuff Girls, Totally Spies. I also loved going to Sanrio as a kid, so a lot of those things combined really inspired my sense of design. I didn't realize how difficult it was to put on makeup while talking. I guess I just really suck at multitasking. Like I was saying, a lot of the stuff that I loved growing up definitely influenced the things that I design today, and that's why you'll see a lot of nostalgic flair to a lot of my products. In terms of art styles that I want to try, I want to practice more traditional forms of art. I have always been an illustrator type of gal, and I never went to art school, so I feel like there's just a lot of technical skills that I lack. Like creating form and shadows, so I think practicing things like painting would definitely be really beneficial for me as an artist. I've also always wanted to work with clay. I watch so many YouTubers who make their own earrings, and it just looks like so much fun and also a lot of hard work, so I haven't really found the time to practice it yet, but I think it would be really fun to create my own jewelry one day and work with clay. So yeah, maybe one day I'll come out with a collection of my own. Favorite song at the moment, I actually have a few favorites. I recently started listening to Harry Styles. I'm very late on this, I know, but I listened to his entire album the other night and I completely fell in love with it. All of his songs are so good and he is incredibly talented. I really love Daylight. I just saw the music video for that, and yeah, I've been pretty obsessed with that song lately. There's also this really silly but badass song that Sean recently showed me, and it's called I'm a Moth by Leah, and oh my god, I love it so much. It's so addicting to listen to, and it just like exudes Scott Pilgrim vibes. I don't know how to describe it. It's just really, really fun. Definitely check it out. Trust me, you won't regret it. It's a really good song. What else? I also really like MXM Toon's new album as well. I really like Mona Lisa. I like Be Sweet by Jay Brecky. There's just so many songs that I've been loving, but if you have any recommendations at all, definitely let me know in the comments below because I always love discovering new music. So I picked up the Precisely My Brow pencil. I think this is from Benefit. And I know this one is super, super popular for like the past few years, but I've never tried it. So hopefully I like it. Look at the packaging, it looks so pretty. Why cherries for your motif? Well, it really wasn't anything that I planned actually. The first ever product that I ever created a few years ago was an enamel pin of a cherry that said bite me. And one day I just used it as a backdrop for my logo and it sort of just stuck with me. Funnily enough, I don't really care for the actual fruit itself, but visually, I really like how cherries look, so I tend to use it in a lot of my graphics. This is really hard to do on camera, so I'm gonna do my brows off camera really quick. Favorite art software to use? So I mainly use two programs. I use Illustrator and Photoshop. I mainly use Illustrator for when I design my stickers, when I design logos, and I use Photoshop for like designing my thumbnails for YouTube. But if I had to choose between the two, I would probably go with Illustrator because it's just much more versatile. You know what? I actually really like this brow product. It's really easy to use. Does anyone else have really bad eyesight like me? Because half the time I'm doing my makeup, it just feels like a big blur and it just feels like a guessing game. Brows are done and now I'm gonna put on some blush. I've been really loving this Rare Beauty cream blush in the color Believe. I've basically just been using all Rare Beauty recently because I love all the products, but yeah, it's really, really pigmented actually, so I just need a little bit. How did you get started with your small business and freelancing? Well, I only started freelancing when the pandemic hit in 2020. And before that, I worked in corporate jobs for like 5 to 6 years. My first job was a marketing designer at a mobile gaming company. And my most recent job was also a marketing designer for Penguin Random House Publishing. And yeah, the main reason why I started freelancing in the first place was because I just felt so overwhelmed from being in the workplace. I was juggling so many back-to-back projects, so many deadlines, and it was really starting to have a toll on my mental health and my physical health. And because I was constantly churning out designs for someone else, I also kind of felt like my passion for design and my creativity was slowly just disappearing, as sad as that sounds. So for a good year, I actually spent all of my breaks, all of my lunch breaks, all of my time at home at night and on my weekends just designing products for my personal brand and creating my own content for social media. And over time, I realized that that's when I felt the most happiest. I think it was around March or April 2020, just weeks before the pandemic hit, when I decided to pursue freelancing full-time. But don't get me wrong, I didn't just like quit randomly. I had been thinking about it for months and I made sure that I had enough savings before I made such a big decision. And at this point, I was also making enough money from my online shop on Etsy and on Shopify in order to pay for rent. TikTok has been such a huge help in allowing my small business to grow as well, because I feel like I had been so stagnant on Instagram for so long. I've been creating content on Instagram for a little over 5 years now, and it just wasn't growing. But the moment that I started posting on TikTok, I felt like I had an actual audience that was listening, and it just reached more people because the algorithm is just so much better over there. But yeah, TikTok and Patreon have just been huge factors in the reason why I'm able to continue freelancing right now. Huge shout out to my patrons for just being so supportive over the past couple of years. I really couldn't have done it without you, so yeah. I love you so much. How do you come up with ideas for your products, and what is your thought process like? So most of the stickers that I design for my Patreon are either cartoons or animes that I watched growing up or just shows that I've been loving recently. Before I start designing anything, I always like to come up with a cohesive theme for that collection. And then once I lock that down, I try to make a look and feel, so I put together a mood board so I could visually see how I want my products to look. And my mood board is usually just like a bunch of images of things that inspire me. I really try to avoid Pinterest as much as I can, and instead I find inspiration through like vintage vinyl records or art books, old films, and I kind of just put that together, and that gives me a better sense of what I want to design. And then from there, I like to brainstorm different phrases or sayings that I could potentially use as type to go with those illustrations. Like sometimes I'll be watching a show and there's a word that really stands out to me, so I write it down so I don't forget, and sometimes it just sticks with me and I end up using it as inspiration. Now I'm gonna try out the REM Beauty liquid eyeshadow. I'm gonna open this up so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, our packaging is so pretty and very simple. I really like it. But this is the purple that I'll be using today. I don't know if you can see that. So pretty. I still don't really have an idea of what kind of look I'm going for, but I'm just gonna put this on my eyes. So this is how the oh no. My life is in shambles. This is what the applicator looks like. Okay, let me swatch this on my hand really quick so you can see what the color looks like up close. Okay, here you go. So this is the purple. It looks a little bit darker on camera, but it has this glittery sheen to it. What's your dream travel destination? So like a lot of people, I haven't had the chance to travel out of state or out of country in the past couple of years. And the last country that I visited was Korea back in 2017. And although I'd really love to be back there one day, the place that I would love to go to the most would be Japan, hands down. Mainly for the food, but also it just looks incredibly stunning, and I've just heard wonderful things about it from all of my friends. So Japan. Oh, that looks really pigmented. This actually looks a lot darker than I remember it being in the store, but I think I'm gonna buff it out with some pink so it doesn't look too harsh. Any tips for staying motivated and maintaining a consistent workflow as a freelance artist? So setting goals for yourself is really important. And although I'm not a huge fan of the 9-to-5 lifestyle, I think creating some sort of structure in your life that works for you is really important. So I don't know if this looks good at all, but we're just gonna run with it. So what personally works for me is just loosely planning out my days beforehand and creating to-do lists and just setting dedicated times for when I edit and when I film. And I found that that really helps me stay on track and it keeps myself accountable. But at the same time, knowing when to take breaks and prioritizing your mental health is also equally as important. Like for instance, if you don't get enough sleep, you probably won't be as productive the next day. So it's really important to take care of yourself too. And in terms of staying motivated, whenever I find myself in a creative slump or I just feel completely uninspired, I like to consume all sorts of media, like play video games, watch films, flip through art books, magazines. Who are your favorite content creators? This one's a hard one because I feel like I follow so many people on YouTube and on TikTok for different reasons, but off the top of my head, I have been really loving Leia's Field Notes and Annika's Leaf on YouTube. Their videos are so aesthetically pleasing and so calming to watch, and they just seem very authentic, like a diary. So I've just been really inspired by that kind of style. Moving on to eyeliner now because I feel like I've been working on my eyeshadow for so long and I don't think it's gonna get any better than this. So I've been using the Stila waterproof liquid eyeliner and I've been really loving this. A good friend of mine recommended this to me because I get really watery eyes. A lot of times when I'm out in public, it just looks like I'm bawling, but it's really just my allergies. I used to use the Kat Von D liquid eyeliner. That used to be like my holy grail, but it just stopped working for me. I feel like the quality just went down and by the end of the day, it would be completely off my face. But this Stila one has been such a lifesaver. It stays on all day and yeah, I cannot recommend this enough. And of course, I still watch all of the OG content creators back in the day, like Jen M and Whaley, and they've both just been huge inspirations to me. The liquid eyeshadow is actually a little bit hard to work with because it dried pretty quickly and just like hardened my eyelids, so it's kind of hard to work with eyeliner on top of it. Yeah, I definitely think I overlined my eyeliner, so I'm just gonna stop here. What advice do you have for getting products manufactured, and what are your thoughts on Cricut? Or is it Cricut? So I watch a lot of studio vlogs on YouTube, and a lot of those artists share their creative process, so that's sort of how I got a little bit more insight into companies that I could potentially look into. But yeah, doing your research, looking at reviews, comparing price points, trying out samples before buying in bulk, making sure that these companies are ethical in their practices, all of these things will help you make a more informed decision about where to get your products manufactured. But if you're looking for specific companies to use, I actually share my manufacturer list on my Patreon. And if you look back on my studio vlogs as well, I usually share where I get my stickers produced. As far as Cricut or Cricut, let me know how I should be pronouncing that. I haven't ever used the machine before, so I can't really say much about it. But from what I've seen in videos on TikTok, mistakes can happen. So you do risk losing a lot of your inventory. So for me, I would much rather get my stickers manufactured for convenience sake. Of course, there's pros and cons to each, but I think getting your products manufactured definitely saves you so much more time, and you're able to focus more on the creative side of things instead of having to worry about producing the actual product. So yeah, that's just my personal preference. I feel like this makeup look is a little boring. I feel like there's something missing. I think I can amp up this makeup look a little bit more, so I'm gonna add some sparkles around my eyes. Hopefully I don't F up, but I think it could be really cute. Okay, wish me luck. Oh god. I'm like clenching my butt cheeks right now, trying not to mess up. I'm gonna try to do this off camera real quick. I'm actually pretty happy with them. I was a little worried at first, but it's starting to look a little cute. I think I'm gonna add a bunch more little sparkles throughout so it looks a little bit more full around my eye, but yeah, I think this was a good way to go. Any advice for people wanting to start a YouTube channel? So when you start out, you basically have a blank slate, and the more that you film, the more that you edit and that you post, you start to develop your own voice and sense of style, which is really, really exciting. But try not to be so hard on yourself in the beginning, because I know that I was, and honestly, I still am really hard on myself today. This is just the perfect time to experiment with your content, so honestly, have fun. I like to think of my channel as a little diary of my life, so I think just being authentic to who you are is really important too. And when people see how passionate you are about something, eventually you'll start to build a community of people with similar interests. And honestly, that is like the best part about posting online, because I've built so many online friendships over the past few years from people around the world that I most likely would have never met in real life. And I know that it can seem really, really scary at first. Trust me, putting out that first video was terrifying for me because I was so scared of what people would think. But the best advice that I can give is to just start and have fun, to be yourself, and try not to worry about what other people think, because at the end of the day, you're posting for yourself. So I think I'm pretty much done with my makeup look now.
So you finally running far away from your history, but there's clouds over your head every time, and they keep following you with no clue of what to do. I can make them vanish if you let me shine. You like to put somebody else's happiness before your own. I see the weight of Atlas on your shoulder, weighs a ton. I'm trying to be the ball and light and energy for you to grow. You see, you're just a flower who has never seen the sun.
So this is the final look, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. Not gonna lie, I was a little worried at first because, like I mentioned earlier, I just really suck at multitasking. but I think the sparkles turned out so cute and I definitely would wear it out again in the future. I hope you learned a little bit more about me. I had so much fun doing this type of video and I definitely want to do another video like this in the future, but let me know in the comments below if that's something that interests you, or if you have more questions, I'll make sure to answer them in a future Q&A video. Also, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you get a notification every time I post a new video. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone!
Butterfly